three distinct identities that are best and worst identities that are impacting your transitioning. And I have had all of them and continue having, so that's why I can relate to them. And I decided to simplify it and categorize them into three so you can easily detect within yourself if you're having any of them and how are they impacting you. Hi everyone, my name is Isela Monoma, life coach for transitioning humanitarians. It is almost 1 a.m. in my place and I couldn't sleep thinking about this a lot, and I wanted to share my observations on how often I coach my humanitarian clients on these topics of identity and how they're impacting the way we're doing things, they're impacting the way that we transition. And the reason why it's so important to talk about is because depending on how our identity is, we are making things longer, taking things longer and harder or more difficult, or making things shorter and easier and very doable. And I will give examples from my own experience. And also, I will want to give you enough tools for you to detect if that's happening for you within yourself and what can you do about it. So I have categorized them into three, as I said. And the first one that I see that is the worst of all is a lacking identity. Whatever it is that we're lacking, right? Whether we're lacking the self-confidence, the security, stability, we're lacking evidence, we're lacking whatever the things. In other words, we're fearing, and fear being the main emotion of that lack identity, where I lack the confidence to do this without UN. For instance, if you're working for UN, right? I lack the confidence that I can actually make this work. I lack the confidence that it's even going to work out. How do I know it's going to work out? And keep thinking about all the worst case scenarios. That's the first identity. And the basis of that lacking identity is essentially where we have tied our worthiness, our confidence, our trust to the system, to the organization, to the employer. And we're saying, this is my lifeline. And if I lose my lifeline, I am no one, I can't do anything, I'm lost, I'm going to be like without anything, and therefore I can't lose my lifeline. And because that's the identity, we're not able to then go confidently to do something else because we're just saying that no matter who says what, this is the best that happened to me, essentially. Right? So that is the identity that many of the clients I coach, they feel I'm not worthy without this job. I'm not confident without this job. I cannot really make things work without it. Even if I do, it will not be as good as this one. And therefore, I'm lacking, essentially. I'm lacking a lot of the things. I don't trust myself. I'm too scared. Therefore, I can't go for something else. That's, I think, the most common identity that I have coached on. Now that you know or observe yourself how that's showing up in your own life, right? The best way to observe, I think, is where you see the reality around you or you feel that emotion of fear, worry, anxiety, all of this as you are thinking about transitioning, right? Now, I will talk about the third category, which is the answer to the first two. But I just want you to see how whatever you are thinking about yourself, how you see yourself, what is the identity you have about yourself, right? Like, this is how I see myself, this is who I am. Whatever that is affecting the way you are doing things, the way you are making decisions, the way you are transitioning, the way you are saying yes to things, no to things, and all of this. So identity impacts everything else. And if you have that lack identity, no matter what you do, you will continue experiencing yourself as such a person, and then keep wanting the lifeline, whether it's a lifeline the employer, UN, whether it's a lifeline your marriage, whether it's a lifeline your partnership, whatever the lifeline is, you keep attaching yourself to that lifeline and believing that without it, you are lost and you are no one. And we get into the existential crisis if our lifeline is stopped. Now, the second identity that I coach on, and I think this is also very, very common, is a chasing or trying identity. And you can also see how you have probably been chasing on wanting to arrive here, wanting to arrive there, and never arriving. And I think the identity of chasing is essentially I'm not good enough. I haven't arrived. If I arrive here, then I will be better. If I have this job, then I will be safe. If I have this, then I am stable. Or if I have $1 million, then all my problems are solved. Whatever it is that you believe, that's where you never arrive where you want to, right? And even if you arrive in one place, you then go to chasing something else. And this is like heavily used to be me, and it still continues to come up at times, and I really need to go to my identity that I'll be talking about in the third one to not get into this. And the trying and chasing identity is really based on you need to be chasing something all the time in order to feel good about yourself, right? So the only way you feel good, you feel fulfilled, you feel free, you feel abundant, whichever the way you want to feel, you believe that comes from achieving that XYZ. And in fact, a lot of my friends qualify me as high achiever because I always want to go for the achieving this, achieving that, so I can feel in a certain way, right? So I can feel intelligent if I've achieved this. If I have this much money, then I can feel successful. If I have a UN job, then I can feel cool or like the most I don't know, important person, right? So we always have this like chasing after something that we believe will make us then feel something, right? This is also similar to the lack energy or the lack identity. But I think the difference here is that the main emotion is I want this, I want this, I desire this, I desire this. And then never arriving at a place where you have it and you feel good about it. It's always like you have one thing, then you go to the next thing, you go to the next thing. I coach a lot of my clients on, they tell me, oh, I've arrived at P4, now I need to go to B5. I've arrived at P5, I need to go to D1, otherwise I just feel like I'm not progressing. Otherwise, the fun is gone. Otherwise, it's not new, right? Like chasing something new. This is also something that is very prominent in this identity. Now, the third one that I think is the best identity that I really want people to experience for themselves is being identity. And this is something that I'm practicing currently. Being and having. Now, the way that it works is, at least this is what I'm learning now, right? Is that whatever I want in life, whatever I believe that will make me happy, that will make me abundant, that will make me secure, safe, whatever it is, believing that I already have it, even if there is no evidence for it in the external world, right? What matters is how I feel about myself, how I feel no matter whether I have that thing or not, whether I have that house or not, whether I have like, so for instance, I used to believe that being in the UN and doing this important job will make me feel important, right? And then I realized I can feel important without having the job with UN. Or I used to believe that being in the UN will make me financially safe and stable. And then I realized, oh, I have the safety and stability within me. It's actually, in fact, a built-in function that we humans possess. We just forgot that we have it, or we were not taught that we have it, and therefore we have outsourced it to someone else, right? We outsourced it to the employer, we outsourced it to, I don't know, marriage, we outsourced to other people, whatever it is. But we always had it. And I think now more and more as I work through and work and understand myself, and it took me 40 years to do that, can you imagine? I'm realizing, oh, I had that. I had the stability within me. I had the safety within me. I had all the identity that I wanted within me. I just kept searching for something else. I just kept looking for something else and never finding it. And the reason why I couldn't find it is because it was within me all along, right? And this is how, as much as crazy as it sounds, the more we focus on the identity and we act from that identity, we grow it, right? And I think this is something that many of us probably have heard it millions of times. I've heard it millions of times, and it clicked me only recently. And in other words, if we keep seeing ourselves as someone who lacks something, if we keep seeing ourselves and feeling ourselves as someone who needs to chase something, if we keep seeing ourselves as someone who needs to like struggle through and get to that thing and then take that thing and all of this, if we keep seeing ourselves that way and feeling ourselves that way, we are just growing it. We're just making it bigger. Just like with languages, right? The more we practice one language, the better we get at it. It's the same thing with, like, I don't speak Spanish for a long time, and my Spanish sucks at the speaking level. At the understanding level, I'm great because I practice watching Spanish TV series. But when it comes to speaking, I'm like, oh, I need to think a lot before speaking. But I used to be very good at it. The same goes with our identity, right? The more we use it, whatever the identity it is, the more we make it stronger, the more we make it real and true to us. Now, if that is the case, and we all know that to be case, then why are we continuing to practice the identity that does not serve us? Why do we keep practicing the identity that is not in our best interest? And probably the answer lies in because we don't know how else to act, right? Because we don't know, we haven't been taught where to put our focus on. We haven't been taught how to change our identity. We haven't been taught how our identity is the main thing that impacts us. And by identity, I mean all the beliefs and thoughts about ourselves that we see, how we see ourselves, that then make up feelings that then makes us believe this is what is true about ourselves. And the best evidence for how whatever identity we're having now, best evidence for how that is the identity is our external world, right? If we believe in the concept that I believe to be true, which is the external world is the mirror of what's going on within us, mirror of how we see ourselves, mirror of who we are, external world is showing to us all the time as to how do we see ourselves, right? And if we keep seeing the evidence of how we need to be chasing the whole time, we need to be worrying the whole time, we need to be proving the whole time, we need to be I don't know, convincing the whole time. If that is the experience we're having currently, that means that our identity needs to change. That means that we don't really believe that we are someone who can get the things or who can have those things without proving, convincing, and chasing, and all of this, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't have done it. If we believed firmly that we have the things that we want, or we can easily have the things we want, we wouldn't be going and doing all the things. Now, you may always say that, well, that's not realistic, that's not mature, that's not how my life experience has been. I hear you. My life experience hasn't been that way either, right? My life experience hasn't been that things came easy, or I just happened to run into, I don't know, rich people who happened to help me with jobs and money and abundance, whatever, right? I had to fight for everything, and I had to work hard for getting to where I am. Absolutely. Except to realize also that maybe those things that I have done, fighting the whole time, like working hard and proving the whole time, chasing the whole time, the reason why I did that was because I inherently believed otherwise I don't deserve it. I inherently believed otherwise I'm not worthy. I inherently believed otherwise I can't get the things I want to. And those basic installments kept running the show the whole time. And I felt like, okay, enough is enough already. Right? I don't want to be spending the next 30 years of my life still convincing and proving and chasing and fearing and oh my god, can I get this? Can I get that? Can I do this? Can I not do this? I don't want to do that. And I'm assuming you also don't want to do that. Right? And if you don't want to do that, then we need to find a different way of being in this world, different way of being on, like in this lifetime, so that we can experience our lives differently, right? And one of the best ways that I have found how to do that, and I'm still practicing and learning how to do that, but the more I learn is how I focus myself, my like how I put my attention to being and having all the things that I want already and believing them to be true, even if they're not in my um, reality, and keep acting from that assumption rather than from the assumption of me lacking, me trying, me chasing, and me proving, and da 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 da. And the more I have done this work of being me, standing by my values, standing by what's important to me, and assuming I have all the things, all the resources that I want is within me, all the things that I want within me, and I have it already. In fact, I recently started really believing that we have all the different identities within us, and we need to choose the one that we want to instead of keep running by default, right? And I felt, oh my god, I'm choosing the identity that I love, and that's it. And then assuming I have that identity already, and I started acting from that place. I started doing things from that place. And I was like, okay, I don't want any other identity that makes me fear things or makes me keep asking for permissions, makes me keep forcing me to do things I don't want to, makes me keep waking up and stressed out about things that don't matter in the end of the day. I don't want that identity. So that's why I have now been practicing being the person who I love being, having all the things that I want already in my reality, even if I don't see them or some of them, and acting and living my life from that place and growing that identity more and making that identity stronger. So, how that can look like in practice for me is that, okay, if I am the person that I really want to and having all the things that I want to, then how would I wake up in the morning? And my answer is without alarm. Without an alarm, I'm waking up leisurely, doing the things that I want to before starting my work. That also means that I work with people who really love working with me. I work on the things that make sense to me, that has the impact. I am creative most of the days of the week and working with my amazing clients, and of course spending time with my loved ones, because I have the assumption that all the things that I desire is already in my reality. And the more I focus on the things that I desire already being in my reality, that I don't need to get to it, I don't need to fight to it, or I don't need to prove to it, or I don't need to, like, I don't know, achieve it, but assuming this is already in my reality makes me feel like, my God, I love my life. It is stress free. It is the most fulfilling because I get to do things for the sake of doing it. I don't do it because I need to get something. And I would love for you to experience this identity and practice this identity more than any other you're practicing. Because if you keep practicing lacking identity, you will never have the thing you want to. If you keep practicing trying or chasing identity, you will always be chasing or proving. But if you practice identity of being and having all the things that you want already now in your reality, and feeling that emotion without using external things to give you the feeling, but rather you feeling those emotions without seeing those external things, and then creating those things in the external world, that feels like freedom. And I would love for you to work on this. If you don't want to work with me, I'm okay with it. Work with someone or work with yourself to get to really practicing being that in that identity. Like if you go to a job interview, practice being in the identity of, okay, if I had this job or any other job, how would I approach this? How would I act in this job interview or in this job market or job application? If I have all the things I want, how would I transition? If I have all the money that I want, or I'm capable of making the money that I want, then how would I transition and where would I transition to? And practice being that person now without waiting for the evidence. Because I heard recently someone say the evidence is us. And if you need help with this, absolutely come coach with me so I can help you really practice being and having all the resources, everything that you want in life, because you are that powerful, and creating whatever you want in the external world from that place. So you love doing all the things you want to. So you love transitioning all the way you want to. Okay, my dears, there is a link below for you to have a consult with me. If this is you, come do that.